Divan makes his way into the grotto and finds a small collection of occult items, using his ability to check if there is any magic afoot. He finds potions, magic scrolls, and Seltzer's Book of Smut. Other than reading some smut, he leaves the cave undisturbed to go seek his lost equipment. Once he has gathered up his gear, he returns to the grotto to find the entrance gone. He has nothing to eat and so returns home to restock. Fortunately, he makes his journey safely. He rests at home and tells anyone who would listen about his adventure. Sadly, they don't seem to believe him. When he has recovered, he takes a couple of goats and heads off into the wilds once more. The return journey goes a lot quicker, despite the goats. This time he completely loots the grotto, emboldened by the fact that he is on a divine quest. One night during the return journey, his sleep is interrupted by hungry wolves preying on his goats. Divan, however, is an experienced shepherd and easily fends off the slavering beasts. Instead of returning home, this time Divan heads to Atropos' cave. Together they examine the items Divan retrieved. They learn the scrolls turn out to be an infinite scroll containing many spells for Divan to learn. Atropos also identifies the potions and informs Divan that he'll need one, the sweet water potion, sooner rather than later. Divan spends some days in his home village retelling tales until one day a dishevelled visitor arrives. The visitor is seeking Atropos, as his village's well has been cursed and the water turned to blood. Divan believes his moment has finally arrived and so volunteers to accompany the visitor back and lifts the curse to prove himself worthy of the title of hero. Divan arrives and quickly makes his way to the well and after a brief investigation discovers a hidden door, and when he sticks his hand in, something bites him. Something small and venomous, it would seem, as his hand almost immediately starts to swell. Will Divan die a slow, painful death from the venom? Will he live to save the day? Will he continue Seltzer's legacy and finish her smut book? Let's find out now on Dicing with Death.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dicing with Death. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Hello, I am doing well. How are you? You made a face.
Oh, yeah, the DM Hackspear is running across the screen for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, God.
It's good. Life is good.
Did you just save my character from that save versus death or die that I just failed?
Well, we'll get to that.
Is that why we're hacking?
Well, no. I think I was reordering. I broke all of my audio sources and I had to rework all of them and remap all of my virtual audio cables, which entailed redoing all of my overlays and scenes in OBS. And so things got turned off and on and all around while testing. And apparently
and you got so desperate you called in the bear for help.
Yes, that's it.
Well, did he fix it?
Yeah, well, it's all fixed now. At least it should be if they can hear us talking. So, and
Perfect.
It looks like they can. Yeah. Pro streamer life. Excellent. So we got anything to chat about before we hop into game?
I don't think so. I've been talking to you for like 20 minutes. I'm all chatted out.
Yeah.
You missed it. You missed a chat.
Mm-hmm. You missed all the good stuff.
Guess you got to watch us play D&D. Are we good? Is this just one person's audio issues?
One person's trolling. They're trying to get us to panic. It's not going to work. Yeah. All right.
Is your cat still around? Speaking of panic.
Speaking of panic.
That's a good nickname for him, right?
Uh-huh.
Panic. Oh my God.
He's sleeping in a box.
You've got a kitty box right there.
Yeah, that box has been there since he arrived, and at first he could only fit like a little quarter of the box. Now he takes up the entire thing.
Do you have have you switched the deer cam to be a pan cam?
I did initially, but then he wasn't in the box, and then we needed it for something else, so that could probably be reinstated if he's going to.
Have you panned the deer cam to become a cat cam?
Yes, but then it got moved, and now it's all messy, and it'll get brought back. Right now, it's in the other room. So if that's enough of a cat update, and you have no life updates for us, then I think we should hop into game. And yes, look at that. There is a pan emote for those of you that are subs.
Yes.
So I believe where last we left, you were opening the small little shrine house. You were just taking the lid off to go see what was inside.
As I was doing that, I did not fully imagine what was going on. I was imagining like an actual shrine or something. Since then, I've realized it was more like one of those like garden, like those Buddhist garden shrines where like a little fairy or a demon lives.
Right.
But yeah, I got my visuals sorted out now. It only took a week. Is Pam the demon? Is that what's inside the pagoda?
The demon's name is Plateaus, right?
Yeah, it's a little cat.
Totally
cat
not no. It's it's better than that. Well, it's never. Well, it can't be better than that, but it's going to be close.
All right, so let's jump back into it. We've all heard the recap, and so here we are. I think just north of the well. There's this little pagoda shrine. Is it up a garden or up on a hill?
It's just like set behind the well, kind of against the hill. The area there is sort of just dry and scraggly. There's not much in the way of like treating the shrine very well. It looks like it was built some time ago, and it just sits next to the well now. But it's sort of
and it's stone.
Yeah, it's made of stone.
All right.
But you lift the lid.
Yeah. So I've got the lid up in my hand, and
there,
my hands
curled up on the left side in the left room of this 4-chamber house, is a red and white snake, curled and poised.
My heart starts thumping, and I start panicking, and then trying to do the opposite, panicking because I can't stop panicking. Try to slow down my breath and slow down my heart rate. Is the snake aggressive other than...
No, it's coiled,
but I think
and its head is sort of like...
I had my hand stuck in the thing, right? Yeah.
It's coiled, and its head is sort of bobbing back and forth, and its tongue flicks out at you a couple of times. You'll notice that its tongue is forked, but it's like a 3-fork instead of a 2-fork. Triked, yes.
And I'm going to take a moment to take in this snake and see if I have any relevant skills that I can consult. I do have an animal handling proficiency and folklore. Like, are these snakes like native to this area? If I'm a goat herder in these nearby hills, presumably I would be aware of the local snakes and which ones are venomous. And
you would be, and this is not a local snake at all. There's no red and white snakes around here, especially none with three tongues. Or a torqued tongue, would you call it? Triked tongue?
Triked.
Yeah.
Tridented. I will set the lid down on the ground next to it, and I'm ready to defend myself if the snake attacks, but it sounds like it's just curled up in its little pagoda, and
it hisses into the air and then speaks to you. Return the lid to my house at once, or you shall come under my fell curse.
You speak, and I look over my shoulders to like see if there's a crowd gathered.
They are, but they're like 20 feet back and they're terrified. You've taken off the house of their little minor god, and it's... I don't know, their wells turned to blood, and now you're here and you're talking to their little god, and they're freaking out.
You speak, I say. Are you...
Plateaus!
Why have you cursed the well?
Foolish mortals do not treat me well. You invaded my home.
I look at my hand, now swelling.
Yeah, it's getting a little uncomfortably large, but it hasn't killed you yet.
Am I going to die?
Yes.
I muse out loud. I look back down the hill. What? You say they haven't treated you well. What is it you want?
I am a god. I demand to be treated well. I need a garden. I need offerings. I need a nicer home.
Your home looks pretty nice to me. I look around. He's got 4 rooms, right?
Yeah, it's got 4 rooms. Yeah.
Any signs of what he's been eating? Are there like mouse bones anywhere? Or
There are a couple of droppings, but they're pretty sparse. You might expect more to be found in the home of a well-treated god.
Am I dying? I feel like I need medical attention. What? Why shouldn't I just banish you from this village right now if you've cursed their water?
I am the only one who can undo the curse, who can undo the poison that flows through you now. Banish me and you die.
I don't know if that's true, I say, looking over my shoulder to the well.
Snakes
I think
do
I
not
could undo
speak
your
lies.
That's definitely not true. What must I do for you to heal my poison?
Bring me an offering. Replace the lid to my house. Worship me, and I shall heal you. Worship me.
What do you eat, mice?
If a snake could roll its eyes, this one does.
How big is it? It's not that big, right?
No, it's not that big. It's probably like a 6-foot snake if it was all stretched out and it's like coiled up in like a little something.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of small. Aside from his red and white coloring, it's kind of cute.
I put the lid back on the back on the top and begin walking like down the path back to the village people.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at my hand, probably sucking on it and spitting or something. Too little, too late.
Yeah. It feels thick and heavy, and it hangs at your side awkwardly if you let it.
And I walk back down the hill to the villagers.
They stand Is it over? Is the well ready?
Not quite. Pothos demands tribute and a nicer house. He says you haven't treated him well, and so he cursed your well. Have you a healer in your village?
I think there's one a few days to the south.
Days?
Yes, there's another village a few days south from here.
Well, that won't do. What were my potions? Let's see. Gaseous form and water breathing. If I go gaseous, that will probably at least pause the poison. I don't think if my veins are gaseous, I don't think.
It's an interesting concept. Might work, but that won't really solve your problem.
Yeah. Well, do they have there's no shops or anything, right?
No, definitely not.
Have any of you seen Pothos?
A lot of people look back and forth between each other. The man who brought you, Collins, I believe his name is, approaches and kind of raises a hand. I've seen him once.
He is a serpent with a triked tongue.
Yes, fearsome, red and white. He rarely leaves his home. He came and got an offering once that I left in his atrium.
What was it?
It was a mouse. I stayed and watched from a distance, and when he poked his tongue out and started to slither out and serpentine around the mouse, he stared at me, and that's when I left.
Can we get more mice? Is there a mouse farmer in town?
He turns and starts
Mouse
shouting
rancher?
at the kids to go find mice, and a couple of kids scamper off to the various little houses around. You can always find mice and rats.
I sit down and I wrap my sling around my forearm to try and as a tourniquet.
Yeah, I would bet you wish you had that first aid check now.
A little bit. It doesn't. I don't think that's actually a proficiency. I mean, maybe that is a proficiency to. I don't know.
I think you want a healing proficiency. Actually, it's just too good to pass up.
Toxicology or something.
Yeah.
So I think I will sit down, try to calm myself, wait for the kids to hopefully bring back some mice, and you haven't let me roll any of my skills. Is that not something you want to do?
No.
I guess you just told me straight up that it wasn't a native snake. It was clearly something else.
It was very clearly something else. Yeah. Do you have any skills you would like to use?
No, I guess the animal handling and the folklore were the most relevant. I've got an arcanology and a spellcraft. This is like a magic poison. Or if it's just a plain snake venom. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a... Let's see, arcanology is like people of the past, right?
No, that's magic of the past or something.
Magic of the past?
It's like magic. I think it's like magic objects and artifacts or something, right?
Okay.
Arcanology? I don't know, you tell me. You made it up. It's not
That's true.
Proficiency. And then maybe folklore even, like what do you do when you get bitten by a mysterious snake?
Yeah.
I don't think I have your full proficiency descriptions handy, just like the list, but it's fine. I don't want to bog down my computer with a. All right, fine. I'll wait for this whole list to load.
The works of past wizards. If there's a source of powerful magic in the campaign's past. The archaeologists had a good idea of the great mages, what they were able to accomplish. Special magic items, spells, and forms of magic wielded by these ancient sorcerers are familiar to the archaeologist. The successful proficiency check, the archaeologist can identify the general purpose and function of a magical item.
Okay.
Yeah, so go ahead. Give me an archaeology check. See if you've heard of any other magical snake gods and their poisons around here.
Maybe folklore. They're both int. Archaeology has slightly higher penalty, so no.
Yeah, why don't you try them both? See if you know anything of wizards or of just fairy tales. They're slightly different.
Passed the folklore. I failed the archaeology because there are no past wizards.
Yeah,
that was all the Age of Mist, and it was useless to take historical proficencies when there's no history to know.
You will find that you will not have useless. This will come into use later.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Okay,
but I know the legends, the fairy tales. Are there serpents in folklore?
There are, and I think the main course of what you're learning, or you're remembering from your folklore here, is that there are lots of small gods and deities and demigods and shrines and little bits of, divine power. Some of these are most likely just semi-magical or intelligent creatures that set themselves up as gods and are actually just random dudes. And then some of them are probably actual spirits with powers. some places will have, here, our creek is this deity and our well has that deity. Our village has this god that protects it, and so forth and so on. So if you believe this to be a true deity and not just a talking snake, then it's probably got some legit magical powers. And if it says its bite will kill you or it can heal you, then he's probably not lying. So it comes down to whether you think he's an actual like minor deity, or if it's just a magic talking snake who is pretending to be a god.
A little of both. All right, but I don't have any.
There's no like
guesses as
shake a
what to do
lamb
if I
over
get
your
bitten.
shoulder 5 times under the light of a full moon. Yeah.
All right. So I wait a little bit of time to see if we can get some kids to come back with some mice to feed it, and then
They do. Your hand throbs, but they come back with mice.
Does the poison progress at all?
Yeah, it's been maybe 20 minutes since you've been bitten, and your hand has swelled to about, 50% larger in each direction. It's like twice as big, basically, up and down. It's like this big, awkward, swelling, painful thing that, like, thud, 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 like, throbs with your heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It hasn't affected your mind yet, but you are beginning to sweat. Maybe it's just being out in the sun, but...
Are these mice brought in a bag or what?
One kid comes hanging a mice by a tail. Some other kid comes with like 2 mice in a bag. Another one comes and is like, cat is holding a mouse and he's just brought the cat with him.
The cat subjected itself to being carried while it carried a mouse.
The cat might not be super thrilled about this, but the kid's holding it tight enough and,
So I will take the bag of mice and put the stray mice into the said bag and carry these up the hill.
Okay. Do you pry the mouse out of the cat's teeth?
I'll let the cat keep that mouse unless like there seems to be an obvious solution. Could offer the whole cat.
Yeah.
No, I take the what is this? 3 mice?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, there's 1 loose, 2 in a bag, 1 in a cat.
Yep.
I'll leave the cat and take the 3 mice for the 3 triked tongue and trek up the hill.
Okay. You arrive back at the house. It looks much the same as when you first arrived.
Yeah, and I will stick the bag in the entrance to the pagoda, whatever we're calling it, to the shrine.
Mm-hmm.
And open it that way so that the mice have nowhere to go but into the shrine.
They scamper in, you hear a hiss and then the sound of a snake striking something.
I say as I'm doing this, Pothos, was that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Pothos, I bring you...
Oh, Plateaus, I'm sorry.
Plateaus.
Yeah.
I bring you offering of 3 blind mice, 1 for each tine of your tongue.
Thank you. And there's a sound, and then like the squealing of a mouse as it gets constricted. You can hear one of the other ones like scamper off and hide in a corner somewhere, and it goes quiet for a minute or 2.
What more do you wish? Gold? Silver?
I wish a nicer garden. This is a barren wasteland. There's no way to treat a god.
Well, maybe if you didn't poison the water, more would grow.
The water was poisoned because they failed to appreciate my magnificence.
Well,
I hold arcane powers unknown to these mere mortals.
As do I. But I cannot grow you a garden if I die of poison.
The head kind of worms its way out into the atrium, and the forked tongue tastes the air. He says, "Come closer."
I take a knee, leaning against a staff. I ready an action to deflect a strike if he attacks me or something, but I kneel before the snake.
Give me your hand.
I hold out my swollen, poisoned hand.
Well, he goes to bite it, so are you going to make an attack at him?
If he just bites my poison, just goes for my poisoned hand, I'll let him do what he's gonna do, right? What's the word that had, like, the double poisons my poisoned hand? I mean, maybe, but like, yeah. If he doesn't go for anything else, I'll let him do what he's gonna do with my nasty swollen hand.
All right, he bites it again. Just
ow! How's that supposed to help? Does he like stay clenched in, or he just like lashes out?
No, it's a quick bite and release, and he then winds his way back into his little shrine. The effects are not immediate, but the throbbing will begin to slow after a minute or two.
I'll undo the tourniquet and like watch. So it was like an anti-venom or something?
Something like that.
And
yeah.
So it does begin to...
The throbbing begins to go away. It'll take a while for the swelling to go down, but the worst of the symptoms, you notice the edge comes off of them within a few minutes, and it's pretty clear that they're residing after 10 or 15 minutes. Now, my garden.
I will begin organizing the villagers immediately. Do you have any favorite plants?
Someone has a basil plant that they keep in a pot near their windowsill.
I was asking.
Plateaus.
Plateaus, if he had any. That was an in character.
Right.
Do you have any favorite plants to Plateaus? But
yes, I like small shrubs. Bring them to me.
All right, shrubs it is. I will walk down the hill to the village. And is there like a gathering of people? Sort of like
the people are still off back a little bit, 30 or 40 feet from you.
All right. Plateau says he wants a garden and a better home.
The people look between each other.
Is there a village elder? I look for someone in charge. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a village elder.
I look to them and say, how do you wish to resolve this? Shall we...
He's a god, what can we do? Other than give him what he wants.
That's one option. Or we can banish him, slay him, and lift the curse from your well. Has he been a benevolent god to your village over the years?
No.
No?
No! He makes demands we cannot meet. All the time.
So then I guess you have two options. Well, at least two options. We can attempt to satisfy his demands, or we can drive him from your village.
And you can fix the well? You can return it to what it was?
I nod. Which approach would you prefer?
We would like him gone. He is not trustworthy. His demands are too far.
Is that a basil plant over there?
Yes?
I will go and pick it. Is it in a pot or is it planted in the ground?
It's in a pot.
All right, I pick up the potted plant and head back up the hill to the shrine.
All right.
And this time, if the snake attempts to bite, I will both block it with my staff and deflect it with a spell, whichever seems the most relevant.
Sure.
He
is not
now. I will set the potted plant in front of the shrine. Say, well, Plateaus, I've got some good news and some bad news. Here's a shrub. I say.
The snake winds his way out into the atrium and looks down at the single
Basil.
plotted.
It's quite fragrant.
Is this a joke?
No. But the bad news, the villagers don't seem to like you very much. I think they want you gone.
Heathens! Blasphemers!
Do you want to make this easy or difficult? You could come with me willingly.
Do you have an appropriate shrine for me?
I know of a nice cave. They lovely seer who could tend to you.
Does it have a garden?
Does Atropos' cave have a garden?
No.
No herb garden? Let's talk of gardens. Isn't the forest but a few miles away? I ask him.
I do not want to be in the forest. I need people to rule. They need me.
I see. Well, I know of a lovely fern grotto on the ocean.
Are there people? Are there subjects to rule?
Surely there are more subjects to rule far and wide. If you stay in this one village, you limit yourself to, what, those 100 people down there? I have a proposition for you. Come with me. You can walk the land, and in this way, you can rule all the people.
Yes. Rule them all. Where will we go?
I am from the east. Say, we can start with my village. Perhaps you would like to meet the prophet I was telling you about. Maybe whisper some prophecy in her ear.
I will choose my own prophet.
Very well.
You shall be my prophet. You shall conquer lands in my name. I shall teach you the secrets of the world.
You like your basil plant?
It's fine.
Here, climb in, I say.
He will slip out of his house and curl up underneath the basil plant, under the little stems in the plot.
Do you have anything from your shrine you'd like to take with you?
These fools have given me nothing.
It's a shame. I pick up the plant and walk back down the hill.
The people look at you carrying their deity.
I say to the plant as I'm walking down, would you like to lift the curse on their well, or should I?
They should be punished for their ways.
Very well then. I will take the plant a little ways down the hill, asking, what's your favorite food? Are the mice sufficient? Bring Plateaus more mice, I shout to the children.
They scurry off to get more mice.
As I set the plant towards the base of the hill and I go to approach the well, a little out of earshot of Plateaus, I guess, in case he objects to me trying to lift the curse on the well.
All right.
And I say to to the village elder and whoever else is around, I will take Plateaus with me away from your village. It is probably best when he is within earshot to still pay homage to your former god. You know, puff up his ego a bit. Tell him you're his subjects and all. This is as we're walking over to the well.
Uh-huh. They look concerned. Of course, is he not, though? Are you taking him?
Yes. Plateaus will come with me. Yes, he is still your, he's still your god, sure. Best that you think that. Gather round, and I make a show of doing some sort of ritual around the well.
Uh-huh.
By the power vested in me, by all the gods, yada yada. Are there any lit fire? It's daytime, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no fires to extinguish.
Oh, they're like camp. There'll be little fires in everyone's houses. You wouldn't let them burn out over the course of the day. Too much of a pain in the ass to relight them, so you just keep them going.
Okay. Yeah. I lift the curse on this village. How wide? 50-foot radius. So I will. I'll extinguish every fire within 50 feet. Actually, I'm level 2, 100-foot radius. So every fire within 100 feet of me goes out. I'll need a drop of water. I have a water skin. I've also got the sweet water that I'm going for in this process.
Okay, so you take a drop of water from your water skin. The fires in people's houses go out. Smoke begins to rise, burning dark and thick.
Then I crush a few fireflies in my hand and send forth my own lights, dancing around the well.
Mm-hmm.
Any of them does it summon? A swarm, it doesn't actually say. So the swarm of light dances around the well.
Mm-hmm.
As I pour the little teacup of sweet water into the well. Guesstimating as I pour to like see if the water is, I guess I can't even see down the well. I'll send the light down the well. And do my best to guess as I pour if I need to if I don't need to use the whole potion or if I think I need to just pour it all. So I will slowly trickle it down and see if the water turns.
Great question.
I think it's like 100,000 cubic feet.
Mm-hmm.
Per potion.
Yeah. 100,000 cubic feet, polluted salt, alkaline water to fresh water, 1,000 cubic feet of acid into pure water. Affects the potion are permanent. The liquid may be contaminated after an initial period. Yeah, I think you pour it in, and it'll probably take about half the potion before you can see the water clears up pretty well.
So I can have a half potion of...
You could probably have a half potion, or if you want to be on the safe side, you could dump the rest in. Your call.
I don't know. I mean, does the water look pure? How much water was down there? I dump half of it.
Yeah, you dump half of it. So, with the well, you'll have a few feet of water, and then the sides are earth. And then as the water gets pulled out, more water seeps in from the sides.
I will lower the bucket in and swish it around, and then pull the bucket up. Lower the bucket as deep as it'll go, and jiggle the rope, and just stir as best I can, and then pull up a bucket and take a look at it.
The bucket comes back out with fresh, clean water in it.
Mm-hmm.
Through and through. There's a couple of rocks at the bottom of the bucket, but they don't seem to be contaminating anything.
Was the water poisonous before, or it was just blood?
It was just blood.
Yeah. I'll give it a drink. See if I can taste any hint of blood.
I mean, it tastes clean and fresh. It's mineral water, probably. It's like there's a lot
That's
of
all we
iron
drink,
in it.
isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, Santa Barbara tap water. It's not great, but it's clean and it's fresh.
Rejoice, people of Grekos. Drink deep.
The village elder steps forward with Colinth at his side and sips from the bucket and
Don't forget
proclaims it to be fresh and pure and more delicious than ever. And
Don't
he
forget
passes
to thank your
the bucket.
gods, I say. And I go back to pick up my potted basil plant and
They cry out to worship
Plateaus
Plateaus.
along with it. Yeah.
Oh.
Did children bring more mice?
They have brought you more mice.
Can I depart the village with a bag of mice?
You can depart the village with a bag of mice. Yes. Yeah. And it is so. You take your bag of mice, and you depart the village.
I ask my bush. So how did you foul their well? Turn to blood.
I have
magic or
access
some-
to deep magics of the world.
Could you teach me? What level spell is that?
That one is a curse. And the snake takes a moment to look you up and down and says, "You are not ready for it."
Very well. What am I ready for?
You are ready to show me to my home. For even as we venture, we must have a home.
I think this plant will suffice. It will be a couple days journey, but all the more of your lands to survey.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Up until now, you've only ruled that little pagoda and the village around it. What has it been, hundreds of years?
Yes. Hundreds of years spent wasting my time with these nincompoops.
Well, we will spread your empire more in a matter of days than you did in centuries.
Yes.
Come, sit up here, enjoy the sights. I'll gesture for him to go to the top of the plant and maybe hoist the plant on his shoulder as I walk.
Yeah, he'll have to keep most of his body down below. The basil plant's not that big, but he can wind his way up and kind of look out over the top as it floats, rests on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And you can walk back home.
Yeah.
All right. And I think this is a perfect stopping place for our first break here. So why don't we take our first break, and we'll see you guys on the other side with a little bit more Dicing with Death and Plateaus. See you soon.